Hello, my name is Roothe. I was born in Germany and I live in England. I went to Palestine for the first time in 2004 with a World Council of Churches project, which goes out to meet Palestinian people and to experience what it means living under military occupation.
How many times you been in Palestine and Israel?
I have been 10 times since 2004, and I have been meeting many Palestinians and traveled through the territories, but I've also been meeting Israeli NGOs. I'm a Quaker, and as a Quaker we have a strong sense and commitment to working for peace and equality between people.
Have you seen any human rights violation? What is the situation there?
Well, international law teaches us that since 1967 there is an occupation of the West Bank where Palestinian people live, and that is considered illegal by international law. It is also, in my view, not wholesome for people of faith to be acting against their own faith, be it Jewish, Christian or Muslim.
Good. And what is the situation there? People, especially for people, they are being oppressed, mean Palestinians. What is their situation? How they think? What do you think?
Well, the Palestinian people living under military law, that means they have no access to human rights law, which we in Europe, in America, in other countries have. So their whole life is dictated by occupation and military law, which is very restrictive for all aspects of their life.
What do you think? What is solution to that? Solution?
That is a good, important question. The solution is all of us. And one starting point would be probably not to blame others, but to take responsibility what each of us can do to create an understanding of human rights law and what our faith tells us, to be a good neighbor that is embedded in Jewish law, in Christian law, and probably also, you will know better than I do, in Muslim tradition.
We heard, Israel capturing Palestinian land illegally and expanding. We must have seen with your eyes.
Well, those of us who have been and those of us who read about the situation know that settlements have been expanding. I went in 2004 when the wall between Jerusalem and the suburb of Abu Dis, which has Al-Quds University, was just being built. In the meantime, that wall has expanded. Each country has a right to have its own borders, but what happened there is that a big part of the wall was actually built on Palestinian land instead of on Israeli land. So more land has been taken, not just for settlement, but for building of the wall.
We see a lot of images and pictures. Palestinian, women, children, they are beaten up by the Israeli armies. And have you seen any evidence there, or something like that?
I have not seen that kind of aggression directly. I've seen other abuse. I've also met with Israeli women, Mahsam Watch, at checkpoints, who are there in order to communicate with their own soldiers, Israeli soldiers, to stay within the tradition of Torah tradition of also caring for your neighbor. But what I have seen is many abusive situations, such as graffiti painted on school walls, and I've seen graffiti on tombstones, on Muslim graves. That was a situation where, especially being born in Germany, which was very upsetting because I know my country had been so abusive to Jewish people and responsible for the killing of Jewish people. And then to see Muslim tombstones with Israeli graffiti, that reminded me of the abuse of my own country. In that instance, I then went up to the Israeli soldiers and told my German.
Do you
story.
think it is the responsibility of superpowers or powerful countries, they should monitor especially the violation of human rights or illegal occupation of Israel?
Since the illegal occupation is now more than 50 years old, it is obvious
It is expanding. We heard in media it is expanding day by day.
responsibility of politicians. But in my experience, I also believe it is a responsibility of all of us, and especially people of faith. We can no longer hide. The politicians have not succeeded in establishing human rights. I think the change will come if all of us together will also act according to our faith and caring for our neighbor and human rights.
Thank you.